Good morning, everybody. I'm Teresa Perrin, and this is my stock market watch list for Tuesday, January 31st, 2023. Futures are red this morning. It's probably going to be a fairly flat to maybe slightly red or green day today because we have FOMC tomorrow. And there's a lot of volatility going into it. Yesterday we had quite a red day, so maybe even we get a little bit of green today. But guys, all in all, I think until we hear what Powell has to say, things are going to be extremely volatile. So please be careful, protect your assets, and remember, you can always sell and get back into something. Also, please keep in mind never to chase runners. If they're already up 100, 200%, or some other crazy amount, you need to wait for a pullback and be sure that it's done pulling back before jumping in, because nothing is worse than being left a bag holder by buying the top. So please keep that in mind when you're trading. Let's get started. Okay, I have decided that I am not going to add HELLB and Mullen every single morning because nobody wants to hear the same stocks over and over again, guys. But keep in mind they will be on my radar. PBLA took off in the after hours yesterday, and apparently there's something going on with the stock where people are talking about it having a potential to short squeeze. I have no idea what this company is, but it definitely bears watching because last night after hours was quite the run up it had, followed by a pullback. So keep it on your watch list today. IronNet, IRNT. Technically, I really like this chart. It is up 88.6% in the past month, but as you can see, it's had a significant pullback, and I think it's going to make another run shortly, so keep it on your radar. Blue Apron, APRN. Okay, yesterday it was really struggling to push past $1.05. I really believe they're trying to keep this under $1 to get it out of, well, it is out of NASDAQ compliance. It needs to hold $1 for 10 days. However, it closed at $1 and maintained it. It is down 1 penny in the after hours. Again, same trend. But I really believe that as soon as there's a catalyst or something to bring buying pressure into Apron, that this thing is going to rip like no tomorrow. So it is on my radar. BBIG. Okay, well, apparently the company had the date wrong, or at least the date that they told retail, because if you go back in the filings, I guess today was officially the day that they needed to have those earnings in. So that little move yesterday, I'm not quite sure what that was all about, but my guess is, like I said, somebody knows something, and somebody probably knows that they are being submitted. And guys, I wouldn't expect earnings to be great by any means, but I think you're going to get a run regardless, because I believe that as long as they submit the earnings, remember, if they don't, this thing gets delisted. So this is a very high risk play. But if earnings are actually submitted today, and they do have earnings supposedly after hours today, it's all over calendars, but I don't see anything from BBIG. Keep in mind, guys, if they do submit those earnings, I think you're going to get a relief rally. And I call it a relief rally because those in this play are going to be relieved that they no longer face delisting for not having those documents in. However, if they don't submit these documents, All right. TCBP. Okay, this one has a recent reverse split, if I'm not mistaken, and it has pulled back, has a very, very micro float that I believe we are going to get a run in shortly. So keep that in mind. I would keep it on your radar because I think that when we least expect it, all of a sudden volume's going to come in and this is going to pop. WISA, WISA. All right, guys, congrats if you got my call out yesterday when this started running. It ran all the way up to, I think it was like 13 or 14, I think it was over $14 to be honest, and then had a pullback. I am looking to see if we can get confirmation that this is not done, and that would be by creating a higher high. So keep it on your radar because I don't think by any means it's done, even though it was up 42.28% and even higher at its peak yesterday. Oh, and clearly you can see here it had a pullback in the after hours, which is good. We want to see that. All right. ALZN. a couple of, I want to say it was a few weeks ago, maybe even a month or two ago now, I told you that I'm buying ALZN and I took a starter position in it. And this is a drug that it has a candidate for Alzheimer's research. So I am watching this because I believe that ALZN could potentially have a significant boom if they have any good data that comes out. And I've noticed that it's slowly starting to peak up again. So I'm just throwing it out there. Not sure it's going to run today, but I think it's worth adding to a watch list. CVNA, Carvana. If you missed my video last night, I highly suggest you check it out because I honestly believe that Carvana probably has the best chance on the entire stock market of having a short squeeze. It has 65% short interest. There's a lot of eyes on Carvana right now, and I believe you are going to get a run very shortly. And it was up 29% yesterday. And guys, I've been calling out this play since it hit, I want to say like $5-ish area. Maybe I waited till $6 to tell you about it, but I know my average is $6 and I averaged up. So I've been calling it out for some time, and I truly, truly believe that this has potential. And there's a lot of big money eyes on it as well, guys. All right, COMS. Now, this is an interesting play that seems to be really stuck. But if you look at this, it looks like it's ready to have a breakout. Which direction does it break in? I don't know. But if volume comes into this, I believe that this has potential to go ripping again. It has previously, and there is no doubt in my mind it will again at some point. Question is, can they do it before getting a reverse split? I hope so. GFAI. All right, I had called this out a week or two ago, and this was before even all this AI stuff came to light. And the reason for that is, remember over the holidays when I was sick and didn't put out videos for a few days? Well, that's when I was busy researching. And I researched a bunch of AI stocks, believe it or not. And GFAI was one of them. And I kept it on my radar and I waited because I said I was going to wait until it pushed through 20 cents before bringing it to your attention, because it had just been, like many of the stocks I have on my radar, just trading in a channel, which is consolidation. And I knew when it broke out of that channel, it would be time to tell you. And I did. So congrats if you got in at that 20-cent range, because we have hit a high, I believe, of 27 or 28 already, but it's pulled back, and I think we're going to get another move higher with AI peaking. Keeping that in mind, I would also keep an eye on BBAI. I've owned C3AI, and that was, I bought that, at $30 and then again at $20, and it just kept going down. But it's in my long-term portfolio, so I really didn't think much about it because I really knew, like, this is going, what, like a year, 2 years back, I think I started buying C3AI. Really believe that AI is the future, guys, and, you know, now is a good time to get in. It is still way cheaper than I bought C3AI at, and I think that there's opportunity there. So keep that in mind. And there are several AI stocks, and perhaps if I have a chance over the weekend, I will give you my list. All right. Oh, I did take a picture of HELLB. Guys, I am watching this. I do not have a bias anymore towards a direction that it's going to trade in. In fact, I wish that I cashed it out at 33 yesterday, but I thought it was going to come back and retest it to try to break out. And when I say cash it out, I mean, in my eyes now, HELLB is a trade for me. I am no longer married to this play unless, of course, the CEO comes out and says he is taking that Series B conversion off the table. If you haven't seen my video, I recommend you watch it, because that is horrible what he's attempting to do to shareholders with that. And the only excuse I could give him would be if he was trying to avoid a hostile takeover. But even still, the ownership percentage it could potentially give him is absolutely ridiculous by diluting us and making him basically come out very wealthy in the end. So, like I said, this is a trade for me. Should have got out at 33, but I thought it was coming to retest it, and it never did. So maybe that retest comes today. So keep it in mind. If it breaks through 34, this thing will rip, and I believe it can get all the way back into the 50-cent range again. Hopefully retesting that 55. If it pushes through that, I really believe then we have potential to get to $1 naturally. Okay, Upstart, UPST. Guys, if Fed comes out tomorrow and says that rates are the hikes are going to be slowing down or potentially ceasing, and I don't mean just this month, I mean what he says overall, then I believe you're going to see stocks like Upstart, Affirm, Carvana really make some huge moves to the upside. So keep this on your radar because I think that the potential is huge. It has been beat down very hard. The other one I'm eyeing, which isn't on this list yet, is Novavax. And the reason I don't have it on this list yet is because I mentioned it on Twitter, but it's a falling knife at the moment. I don't want people to get trapped. And even when I said it on Twitter, I said, wait until the knife stops falling. But that has also been manipulated, shorted, naked shorted, I'm sure, supposedly, allegedly, whatever you want to say, all the way down from almost $400 to, I think it's at $11 right now or somewhere in that range, guys. It's ridiculous. When that knife is done falling, I believe you're going to see a pretty big jump in Novavax, so I'd keep it on your radar. FUBO, FUBO. All right, I'm going to name off a couple names because I don't want to bore the crap out of you. But I believe that these should be on your radar. Hold on, let me pull up the ones that I have on my list. 1 second. I'm going to give you some very heavily beat up names, starting with FUBO, that I think bear watching. FUBO, WBD, I think that's the ticker, Warner Brothers Discovery. It's another streaming platform. Jumia, JMIA, Adder, ATER. IQ was supposed to be up here, guys, but I had an issue, and I think that I have exceeded data or something because I have a bunch of pictures up here that aren't coming up. But IQ started running yesterday. My only fear is that WILME started pumping it. And IQ, if you follow this channel, you know has been on my radar for quite some time. It's a heavily beat up China play that I think could really take off. So please remember, though, that WILME is in this. And when he dumps, he can dump hard on people. So bear that in mind. But I do think that IQ could potentially be a huge runner. TAL, T-A-L, is another Chinese stock that has a gap fill to 1960 I've been targeting. BBAI, we all know that from the AI that we were just discussing. But BBAI was a D-SPAC as well, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe because it was trading around $9 or $10 for a very long time. It may or may not be. But it initially jumped up, like we see a lot of these ones that get IPO'd. They go up and then they get tanked. BBAI was one of them, and they tanked that all the way to under $1 and before it started running. So keep it on your radar. PBLA, we already discussed. HKD. Believe it or not, I'm seeing a trend with like the HKD, Miguel, MSGM, a bunch of these Hong Kong type IPOs. MSGM may not be a Hong Kong IPO, but for some reason I have it classified in there. I'm not 100% sure on that. But if you follow the channel, you know that name well because we've talked about it many times and we've seen lots of runs in it. Well, this morning it's running again. But all of those in that, FOXO, in that group of these Asian IPOs seem to be running. So keep your eye on them. I also have on my radar for you today, BuzzFeed, BZFD, and again, that's related to the AI, but I'm not sure that we've gotten enough of a pullback that if you haven't already jumped in that one, you may want to wait. However, it could, if this trend keeps going, it could go strong. Lucid. I do not believe that Lucid is done today because, guys, it's been having like a pullback day yesterday. But it made an inside bar, which can be a very bullish sentiment. Does it make another one today or does it break out? I'm not sure. With Powell tomorrow, I think things could be a little fuzzy. But technically, I looked at the technical analysis on Lucid. I believe it could have a big move either today or tomorrow to the upside because that 20 is about to cross over the 50 moving average. And that's a very bullish indicator as long as they don't pull it down so that it can't happen. But when we got that big move the other day, believe it or not, the 13 crossed above the 48 on the daily, which is a huge indicator as well. And I believe I have Ford on my radar for you as well today. And that's because there's a potential recall or lawsuit or something going on. I'm sorry, I read it very quickly and part of it stuck in my head. It has to do with the Ford Explorers and something with the dash, something on the dash disconnecting while people are driving. Kind of scary, but check that out. I don't know why it's up in pre-market, but with that recall, it could get a pullback. So just keep that in mind. I'm not sure if it's a recall or a lawsuit in regards to it, but just look at Ford because there is big news about that today. So it may be a play to the up or the downside. All right, now let's look at what is trending, top gainers, top losers, all that stuff. Hey guys, I haven't looked at this list myself. I just took the screenshots, but look at, we just talked about MSGM and holy moly, that's up 174.9% in pre-market. Again, please do not chase, wait for a pullback if you're going to enter a play like that. HILLS, HILS, have no clue what they are, but they're a biopharm company. CFRX. All right, I've noticed lately that some of these stocks trading under 10 cents have had like pump of the day plays. I don't know whether it's discords or something that's pumping these stocks, guys, but please be careful unless there's a news catalyst or a reason behind it, and also go back and see how long they've been trading that low. One particularly I'm afraid of is Accela. Not that it couldn't have a breakout, but that's just very ugly, that stock, and what they've done to it. And I believe they're going to bankrupt it, guys. I'm just being honest, but it's not a good situation and you need to be careful when you see these because a lot of them are under 10 cents. And could they recover? Yes, this is a very corrupt market, but you need to go and look at the filings and things, in my opinion, before you even consider touching them, unless you're doing a day trade. Solely get in, get up, get out. All right, KNW and EU. Energy might be big today because I think it was XOM. I don't know. A big oil had, Chevron maybe, had earnings today with a massive beat. So I think you could see oil plays take off today, even if oil is red initially or down. I think that due to the beats, that would just be an expectation across the board, generally after the first big one reports. But anyways, keep all oil and energy plays on your radar because of that today. ET, these are the most active. ETDV, TEL, which is uranium, CSX, and SRNE. Top losers, SIDU, SIDU, BBAI. Yes, BBAI, I said on my Twitter yesterday, it's having a pullback, guys. It was ripping in the after hours, and then they announced an offering, and it did pull back. It apparently is continuing in pre-market today. I still think with AI trend being strong, that enjoy this pullback. You just got yourself an opportunity because after it cools off from that announcement, which, by the way, I don't think that their offering is really going to affect this from moving higher because, like I said, it's been heavily beat down, and I think you're going to see a continuation to the upside after the dust settles from the offering. So this may be an opportunity for those that missed out. HSCS, Mind, and JFIN. And somebody in the comments below, if you know, maybe it was MMND. Never mind. I was going to say, didn't it mind bend? But this is Mind. Get a reverse split and like start rocketing, then maybe I was like, please tell me it didn't pull back under $1 again. That would just be sad for those in it, but I think this is a different company. All right, and JFIN. Now I want to tell you something about top losers. Sometimes after they've gotten massive pullbacks, they can create opportunities for nice moves to the upside. So, you know, you can play both sides. Just like with those top runners, they can create opportunities for those of you that short for a short position. So just because it's in one category or the other doesn't mean that it can't be traded however you like to trade. Technical analysis top list, we have NYCB, KEY, again, an energy company, Elan, ELAN, NLY, and GPK. All right, that's what I got for you today, guys. Have a wonderful day and stay green. Please remember, I expect today and tomorrow to be